Hey y'all, it's me, Lynn Daniel, coming to you today. It is Saturday, August 16th, 2014, and I'm coming to give you all just a little update on the Ferguson, Missouri situation. I'm sure many of you have been keeping informed through media and through your friends and contacts. But I just wanted to touch on it. I had my high school buddy call me from New York today. He is also from St. Louis. We attended high school here in St. Louis together, but he's been living in New York for many, many years. So he called just to check on me, see how I'm doing, you know, handling the, I guess, the emotional stress of living nearby and witnessing all of this going on. Now, again, I'm going to be very specific and say I did not physically put myself in Ferguson to participate in any of the activities, and that was a purposeful decision that I made for me. Everybody isn't meant to be on the front line. Some of us are in the background, and my role, you know, is to pray and to seek guidance, and then to get information, disperse information, and so everybody isn't meant to be on the front line, okay? And I'm sure you all recognize that and are aware of that. But I wanted to speak to the information that has come out today about Mike Brown being a bully, assaulting a store owner and stealing from a store. So I saw a clip from a video or security film footage, and I noticed that it was time-stamped June 9th of 2014. I believe is the year, but I'm specific that the date was stamped June 9, 6/9. So that was 2 months ago, over 2 months ago. Now, does that, listen, someone had mentioned, you know, the concept of you reap what you sow, karma. Another person had even mentioned Darwin's theory of evolutionism or whatever, where the survival of the fittest, and it's almost like the laws of nature. If you do something wrong, there will be an equal and opposite reaction and consequence. Okay, whatever. You can say all of that. I'm looking as a mom, as a citizen, as a teacher, I'm looking at the facts from that perspective. And also as a student of policy, I'm learning policy in my studies. So it's just triggering me to think on those lines regarding policies. So in looking at the policies, the information presented today about Mike Brown committing a crime, a strong-arm robbery, if it is indeed him in the footage, it did not occur on August, whenever he was murdered, that Saturday, last Saturday, which I believe is August 9th. So that's number one. Okay. Number two. According to the audio, the claimed unadulterated, undoctored audio from the 911 call or 911 system that should have taken the call from the officer who was involved in the Mike Brown situation, there was no call recorded from the officer. The 911 system received the information from the media. They were informed via the media that an incident occurred in Ferguson involving one of their own police officers. Policy. All right, policy. All right. Now, I was talking to someone regarding Mike Brown's body being out in the street for like approximately 4 hours and uncovered for a portion of that time. And the response was, well, police have to do their investigation of the crime scene and all of that. And so, I mean, that's logical. That makes sense to me, that they do have to, you know, they need time. There's time involved in that process. So if you are an expert on that process and you can speak and address that, the fact that a body would be uncovered for that long of a duration, would you please leave me a comment? Or I may just hit up my cousin and bug him, because he's a detective, and he's been very silent on this because he's thinking along the lines of his training, you know, get all the evidence and then speak, which definitely is a very professional and logical way to work. I mean, that is like the best way. But as a citizen, it's like you're taking the information and you're really analyzing the information yourself. And then as a teacher or as a mom or as a student of policy, I'm really just looking at it like, wow, that seems to could use some structural change to address this weakness here, because obviously there is a weakness in that particular police department. Now, enough about that. But I will say that I think this whole incident of the rioting, the looting, the vandalism, the crimes, the military strong force being presented, the lasers pointed at the citizens, the rubber bullets, which are better than hard, like real bullets, but the use of them against the citizens, and the use of the tear gas. Oh my gosh, you all, this is martial law. This was a drill for martial law. And the reason I think this is my opinion. Now I'm just going to speak my opinion. I really didn't want to do a commentary, but I'm going to do a commentary based on information that I'm receiving from credible media sources who have studied this. I mean, they've been studying how the police are becoming militarized and how the military is even training and shifting their focus from, like, and the police as well, from protection, like protect and serve the citizenry, to control the citizenry. So the military in Virginia, the government has built a 300 square mile city for the military to train in. And this city has homes, a bank, churches, a mosque. It has a railway, subways. It's a city, okay? And this city is used to train the military for scenarios that they can anticipate. It's putting them in the frame of mind to prepare war against their own citizens. Those cities are American-like cities. They do not look like third world country cities or anything like that. They look like American cities. So I think it's important for us American citizens to recognize that there is a shift in the philosophy of our law and order system from serve and protect to control and control and get us all into some organized disbursement or something. I will provide links below in case, you know, you think I'm just making this up or it doesn't make sense. I will provide links so that you can see for yourself that this is happening across the nation, not just, you know, in small towns. The focus is on how does this work in small towns to control crowds and things. And you know that there are different types of technology that have been manufactured and in use that are aimed at crowd control. Many of them deal with sound. This was used in the Ferguson situation this week, this loud siren-like blast of sound that can damage your ears. Tear gas was used, and the people on Twitter were being told from folks all over the world how to protect themselves from tear gas with milk and milk of magnesia and all sorts of remedies to alleviate the burning in the eyes and in the mouth and in the nose from the tear gas. So yeah, you all. I'm glad that today, well, the governor, let me just kind of backtrack, because this week has been filled with activity surrounding Ferguson. So President Obama and the governor, Nixon visited Ferguson and spoke in a church. And from what he said that was televised, it did not sound like a prepared speech. And I didn't hear anything specific, but I heard him encouraging or just kind of rambling a bit, really. It's like I got the impression that he wanted to appease the people and make them feel like he was there for them, but his message was not, from what was televised, the message that I heard was not very solid in content to tell the people of an action or of a need that would be addressed. So it was a lacking message. That's my estimation, okay? But he was present. Now, today I saw people holding up pictures of his face with MIA written on it, because the people probably also are feeling the same way that I'm saying. I'm speaking to that message that he spoke that was televised, because that's where I saw it. I am not putting myself there physically. The message lacked content. And so, you know, if I were the governor, I would put together a message of content, of solidarity. I can't even get my words right. And of some sort of support for progress and improvement in the relationship, the public relationship between the government of Ferguson and the citizens of Ferguson. Look, I'm sharing my 2 cents. Let me just be clear on that. As a citizen, I'm just sharing my 2 cents. Senator Claire McCaskill was also present. I did not hear her speech or whatever she shared with the citizens, but she was physically there, along with a lot of people. Today, Jesse Jackson arrived, and I heard reports from some vloggers that a variety of groups have made their presence known, and they are doing positive things. My niece's friend works for a social service agency, and they're providing like a job fair and different social services and they're reaching out to the looters and the rioters who they suspect are unemployed or underemployed, or, you know, need training, job training, GED training or whatever. So there are social service agencies reaching out not only to the residents, but also to the looters and the rioters to get them to become socially responsible citizens, not just angry citizens. The people have a reason why they're angry. If the people are angry for a reason, and I recognize that. And so, and Dick Gregory spoke to that. He's here also, by the way. Dick Gregory is present. But I viewed his video about the Watts riots of the 1960s. And Dick Gregory spoke very clearly and said, children don't cry. And he's not calling rioters children, but he was talking about his child, his baby daughter, When my baby daughter cries, I don't tell her, shut up. I ask her, what's wrong? So it's the same. These looters and rioters are doing something that we don't want them to do. And especially if they don't live in the community, they have just come there. But even if they've just come there, they've come there to express their anger. And so you would think, I would pray they're not provocateurs paid to do that. You know, God forbid that be the case. But so these young people, these people who are involved in looting and rioting are being reached out to. And that's a good thing. And so these are things that the governor could help to solidify or to support, I'm thinking. There were families, homes, personal property. Their lawns were burned by the military troops, weapons. Their lawns were burned, their homes, I think like property on their homes were set afire by those blazing cans of whatever, gas or whatever. And are those people going to be reimbursed? So tonight there is a curfew at 5, but that the governor put on the city of Ferguson, but people are still there. And the guy, Jack Dorsey, who helped to found Twitter, is there as well, vlogging with some of the aldermen and news journalists from St. Louis who have been tweeting and vining and vlogging and just doing a very good job of keeping people informed. So this is an update video. I thank my friend for calling me this morning to check on me. I am fine. I'm fine. The students, the first 2 days of school, Thursday and Friday, went well. The kids really seemed settled down. There were a couple of them who seemed very nervous, but you don't know. That could just be back to school jitters. But overall, our students in my building, on my team, is what I can speak for, that I teach, that I touched and interacted with, seemed pretty much solid and in the frame mind for school. So, yeah. So I'm going to provide some links below. You all be sure to check them out so that you can see that our government is shifting, and our military and our law enforcement is shifting their focus as well, and there's a reason for it. And everything that's happening in the news pretty much, or that's happening in our nation, that really isn't being addressed in the mainstream news, but it is being addressed. All of these things are connected, and so it's very important to pay attention to them and to seek policies that can address them in a responsible manner that doesn't negatively impact citizens and our tax dollars and our freedoms and liberties and our rights to be on our streets after 5 o'clock if we want. Okay, so all right, thank you so much for stopping by. Be blessed. Bye.